Today, I'm going to reveal why these 4 vitamins might be the difference between feeling like you're slowly fading away and feeling like the confident, energetic man you used to be. Before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love connecting with men all over the world who are serious about their health. Here's something that might surprise you. The fatigue, the brain fog, the declining interest in intimacy that you're experiencing, these aren't just normal aging. Much of what you're feeling right now is actually your body crying out for 4 specific nutrients that become increasingly difficult to absorb as we get older. What I'm going to share with you isn't some miracle cure. These are evidence-based, scientifically proven nutrients that your body desperately needs after 60. And the best part? You can start implementing this information today. Here's exactly what you're going to learn. I'm going to show you the 4 specific vitamins that research proves can boost your energy, improve your performance, and enhance your overall vitality. More importantly, I'm going to explain why your doctor probably hasn't told you about this connection, and I'll give you the exact dosages, timing, and sources you need to see real results. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete action plan that could have you feeling noticeably better within weeks and dramatically better within months. Let's get started. Vitamin number 1, vitamin D3, your masculine foundation. The first vitamin that could transform how you feel is vitamin D3. And I want you to think of this as your masculine foundation vitamin. Most people think vitamin D is just about preventing broken bones, but that's like saying a smartphone is just for telling time. Vitamin D3 is actually a hormone precursor that influences over 200 different biological processes in your body. Here's what really caught my attention when I started researching this connection. In multiple studies involving thousands of men, those with vitamin D levels above 30 nanograms per milliliter consistently had hormone levels that were 25 to 30% higher than men with lower levels. But it gets even more interesting. When researchers gave vitamin D supplements to deficient men for 1 year, their hormone markers increased by an average of 25%, and their free hormone levels, the form your body can actually use, increased by even more. The connection goes much deeper than just hormone production. Vitamin D3 receptors are found throughout your cardiovascular system, in your muscle tissue, in your brain, and throughout your body. Adequate vitamin D levels are crucial for maintaining healthy blood flow, muscle strength, cognitive function, and overall vitality. One groundbreaking study that followed over 3,000 men for 5 years found that those with optimal vitamin D levels had a 40% lower risk of developing circulation issues compared to those with deficient levels. But here's the shocking reality. Despite living in one of the most advanced countries in the world, over 80% of men over 60 are vitamin D deficient. Even men living in sunny climates like Florida and California are showing up deficient. Why is this happening? First, as we age, our skin loses up to 75% of its ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight. The same amount of sun exposure that would have given you adequate vitamin D at 30 barely moves the needle at 60. Second, most of us spend the majority of our time indoors. Even if you're outside regularly, if you're wearing sunscreen, it's cloudy, or you're outside during times when the sun isn't directly overhead, you're not getting much vitamin D production. The solution: start with testing. Request a 25-hydroxy vitamin D blood test, also called 25-OH vitamin D. Don't accept being told your levels are normal. The standard reference range considers anything above 20 nanograms per milliliter as sufficient. But research clearly shows that optimal levels for hormone production, immune function, and cardiovascular health are between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. For supplementation, most men over 60 need between 2,000 and 4,000 international units, IU daily, to reach optimal levels. Some may need even more. This is why testing is so important. Here's the critical part. Vitamin D3 is fat soluble, which means it needs fat to be absorbed properly. Taking it on an empty stomach with just water is like trying to dissolve oil in water. It simply won't work effectively. Take your vitamin D3 with a meal that contains healthy fats. This could be eggs cooked in butter, a handful of nuts, avocado, olive oil, or even just a glass of whole milk. This simple change can double or triple your absorption rate. Food sources: you can also get vitamin D from food, though it's challenging to get therapeutic amounts. The best sources are fatty fish like wild-caught salmon, mackerel, and sardines. One serving of salmon contains about 400 to 800 IU, depending on the type and preparation. Vitamin number 2, B12, the energy molecule. The second vitamin that could be the missing piece in your energy puzzle is B12. And this deficiency is so common in men over 60 that some researchers call it a hidden epidemic. B12 is absolutely essential for energy production at the cellular level. Every single cell in your body needs B12 to convert the food you eat into actual usable energy. Without adequate B12, it's like trying to start a car with a weak battery. Nothing works at full capacity. Here's what most men don't realize. Starting around age 50, your body's ability to absorb B12 from food begins to decline significantly. This happens because your stomach starts producing less intrinsic factor, a protein that's essential for B12 absorption. By 60, some men have lost up to 50% of their ability to absorb B12 from food sources. But the decline doesn't stop there. Certain medications make the problem worse. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, commonly prescribed for acid reflux and available over the counter, can reduce B12 absorption by up to 65%. Metformin, a common diabetes medication, can reduce B12 levels by 20 to 30% over time. The symptoms of B12 deficiency develop so gradually that they're often dismissed as normal aging. That bone-deep fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, mental fog that makes you feel less sharp, mood changes, including depression and irritability, difficulty concentrating, and yes, a significant decline in vitality. One study that really opened my eyes followed 300 men over 60 for 2 years. Those with B12 levels in the lower third of the normal range were 3 times more likely to experience circulation issues and reported 40% lower energy levels compared to men with optimal B12 levels. But here's what's really interesting. When the men with low B12 were given supplements, 75% showed improvements in energy within 4 weeks, and 60% reported improvements in overall function within 8 weeks. The solution for men over 60, I typically recommend 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily. But some men need even more, especially if they've been deficient for a long time or have absorption issues. The form is absolutely crucial. Look for methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin on the supplement label. These are the active forms that your body can use immediately without requiring conversion. Avoid cyanocobalamin, which is the synthetic form found in most cheap supplements. Your liver has to work to convert cyanocobalamin into usable forms, and this conversion becomes less efficient as we age. Food sources. You can get B12 from food, but it's almost exclusively found in animal products. Grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish like salmon and tuna, and eggs from pasture-raised hens are good sources, but you'd need to eat large portions daily to get therapeutic amounts if you're already deficient. Vitamin number 3, vitamin C, the circulation protector. The third vitamin that could revolutionize how you feel and perform is vitamin C, and I guarantee you don't know the half of what this nutrient does for masculine vitality. Most people think vitamin C is just about preventing colds, but when it comes to energy, circulation, and performance, vitamin C is absolutely foundational. Here's what vitamin C does that directly impacts your quality of life as a man over 60. First, it's essential for producing collagen, the protein that keeps your blood vessels flexible and strong. Think of collagen as the rubber in a garden hose. Without adequate collagen, your blood vessels become stiff and less able to deliver blood where you need it most. Second, vitamin C is one of the most powerful antioxidants in your body. It protects your blood vessels from free radical damage that accumulates over decades of living. Third, and this is the big one that most men don't know about, vitamin C is absolutely essential for producing nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like your body's natural circulation enhancer. It signals your blood vessels to relax and expand, dramatically increasing blood flow to your muscles, your brain, and throughout your body. Without adequate vitamin C, your body simply can't produce enough nitric oxide. Here's a study that will get your attention. Researchers followed 120 men over 60 with mild circulation issues. Half received 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily, while the other half received a placebo. After 8 weeks, the men taking vitamin C showed a 40% improvement in their circulation scores. But the benefits went beyond that. They also reported 30% better energy levels, improved mood, better sleep quality, and significantly better recovery from physical activity. The connection between vitamin C and hormone balance is particularly interesting and often overlooked. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, and high cortisol is one of the biggest suppressors of healthy hormone production. Vitamin C helps normalize cortisol levels, indirectly supporting healthy hormone balance. The solution? Most men over 60 should aim for 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily, but timing matters tremendously. Your body can only absorb about 200 milligrams at one time. So it's much better to take smaller doses throughout the day rather than one large dose. For example, instead of taking 1,000 milligrams once daily, take 300 to 400 milligrams 3 times daily with meals. This approach maintains steady blood levels throughout the day and maximizes absorption while minimizing the risk of digestive upset. Food sources. You can also get significant amounts of vitamin C from food. Red bell peppers contain more vitamin C than oranges. One medium red bell pepper has about 150 milligrams compared to 70 milligrams in a medium orange. Other excellent sources include strawberries, kiwi fruit, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, leafy greens like kale and spinach, and citrus fruits. Pro tip, vitamin C is destroyed by heat and light, so eat these foods raw or lightly steamed when possible. Vitamin number 4, vitamin K2, MK7, the circulation guardian. Now here's the 4th vitamin that most men have never heard of, but it could be the most important one for your long-term health, vitality, and performance. Vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form. Vitamin K2 is crucial for directing calcium to the right places in your body and keeping it out of the wrong places. Here's why this matters tremendously for men over 60. As we age, calcium starts accumulating in our arteries, making them stiff and less flexible. This arterial stiffening, called arterial calcification, is one of the primary causes of declining circulation, reduced energy, high blood pressure, and poor overall function. Vitamin K2 acts like a sophisticated traffic director, ensuring calcium goes into your bones where you need it for strength and stays out of your arteries, where it causes serious problems. One landmark study followed 4,800 men for 7 years and found that those with the highest vitamin K2 intake had a 50% lower risk of developing severe arterial calcification compared to those with the lowest intake. But here's what's really interesting for masculine health. Men with optimal vitamin K2 levels showed significantly better endothelial function, which is medical terminology for healthier, more flexible blood vessel walls. The connection to overall performance is direct and powerful. Poor circulation is often the first sign of cardiovascular problems because the blood vessels throughout your body are sensitive to circulation issues. By keeping your arteries flexible and healthy, vitamin K2 helps maintain the blood flow necessary for strong, reliable function throughout your body. The challenge with vitamin K2 is that it's found in very few foods in the modern Western diet. The richest source is a Japanese fermented soy product called natto, which contains about 1,000 micrograms per serving. But let's be realistic about how often you're eating fermented soybeans. Other sources include grass-fed butter, egg yolks from pasture-raised hens, certain aged cheeses like Gouda and Brie, and organ meats. The solution. For supplementation, I recommend 100 to 200 micrograms daily of the MK7 form of vitamin K2. MK7 has a longer half-life in your body compared to other forms, so it provides more consistent benefits throughout the day. Like vitamin D3, K2 is fat soluble, so take it with a meal containing healthy fats for optimal absorption. Important safety note. If you're taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin or Coumadin, you need to work closely with your doctor before adding vitamin K2 to your regimen, as it can affect blood clotting. However, for most healthy men not on blood thinners, vitamin K2 is extremely safe and well tolerated. Let me give you some advanced strategies that can dramatically improve your results with these 4 vitamins. Timing matters. Take your vitamin D3 and K2 together with your largest meal of the day, usually dinner, as this meal typically contains the most fat, optimizing absorption. Take your B12 first thing in the morning on an empty stomach if you're using the sublingual form, as this maximizes absorption. If you're using capsules, take them with breakfast. Split your vitamin C into 2 or 3 doses throughout the day, taking them with meals. For example, if you're taking 1,500 milligrams daily, take 500 milligrams with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get baseline testing. For vitamin D, you want levels between 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. For B12, optimal levels are above 500 picograms per milliliter. Many functional medicine practitioners prefer levels above 800. Choose quality supplements. For vitamin D3, make sure it's actually D3, cholecalciferol. For K2, specifically look for MK7. For vitamin C, consider forms with bioflavonoids for enhanced absorption. For B12, choose methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin. Let's talk about realistic timelines. Most men notice some improvements in energy within 2 to 4 weeks, especially with B12 if they were deficient. Energy improvements from vitamin D typically take 4 to 8 weeks. Improvements in circulation typically take 4 to 12 weeks of consistent use. The cardiovascular protective benefits of vitamin K2 develop over months to years. Think of this as a long-term investment in your health that pays dividends for decades. Listen, you're not too old to feel great. You're not destined to accept declining energy, poor circulation, and reduced vitality as inevitable. These vitamins work by building up in your system over time and supporting long-term biological processes.